Welcome everybody, I'm Santiago Nieland and this is The Divine Within, the invisible connection with God. Today we have a special show. It's actually going to be two shows and we're going to talk about Christmas and New Year's. I have a very fun-filled panel of guests. They've been with us throughout this year. They've contributed, and now we're going to do a special where we're going to be touching on talking about different themes. You've always asked about how we celebrate Christmas, what is our take on Christmas, and how do we view new cycles, all this new eras, and information that we can share with you. So buckle up, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and let's just dive right into. We're going to start with Rick. Rick is going to present, Do Your Ranchers Celebrate Christmas and the Giving of Gifts? And I'm going to read a quote from the Rancher book that says, "The master was always generous. He never grew weary of sayings. It's more blessed to give than to receive, said he. Freely you have received, freely you give. And yet, with all bounded generosity, he was never wasteful or extravagant. He taught that you must believe to receive salvation, for everyone who seeks shall receive." So, welcome, Rick. What can you tell us about this?
Well, thanks, Santiago. It's so good to be with you again. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity here today. But my presentation is going to be about something that we get asked frequently: is do your ranchins celebrate Christmas, and the concept of gift giving, that sort of thing. But at this time of year, many of us get asked two questions: do your ranch people celebrate Christmas? And which, of course, we do. And then we get asked, how do your ranch people celebrate Christmas? And my response is, just like everyone else, only more so. Their question seems to imply that the ranch book students don't really believe in Christmas just because we know Jesus was actually born in August and not December. A fact that, it's now supported by both science and theologians. But Christmas is so much more important than the celebration of Jesus' birth, even as important as that is, I think. Christmas is a celebration of his life and how he lived it. It's a reminder of how we should live and love each other, as he taught us to love one another as Jesus loves us. And as students of the Urantia book, we're blessed to know that, how December 25th came to be the traditional celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. And we know not only the actual day, the month, the year of his birth, but also the time of day and the place and the scene at the manger. We know the story of the three wise men and what led them to Bethlehem. We know Jesus before he was Jesus, and we know Jesus since he left this world. So, celebrating the birth of Jesus on August 21st, in addition to celebrating it on December 25th, it allows us to honor both the historical fact of Jesus' birth and the spirit and the meaning of that event. In a way, as students of the Urantia book, we celebrate Christmas twice a year. In August with our Jesus birthday picnics, and in December with our family and friends and the traditions of giving gifts. And, it's a time for us to remember who is really important to us and what is really important to us. And on both occasions, we're reminded, I think, that we're children of God and we're members of the family of God on this planet and in the cosmic family as well. So for us, Christmas, it's not just a Christian holiday. It's a worldwide celebration of the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of mankind that embraces people of all races and cultures and genders and faiths, and, even those who profess to have no faith at all. It's peace on earth and goodwill to all mankind. As students of your Urantia book, I think we can celebrate December 25th with deeper meaning and feeling because we know so much more about who Jesus is and what his life and his bestowal on our world really signify. The tradition of giving gifts, that's an important part of Christmas for sure. And the word gift is mentioned many times in the Urantia book. In paper 2, The Nature of God, it says, quote, "Every good gift and every perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights," unquote. So God, our Father, is the creator of all things, of everything. Therefore, everything we have and everything we are and everything we ever will be is a gift from God. So, Jesus is coming to your rancha is one of the greatest gifts of all. It's a personal, tangible revelation of the loving Father to each of us. And we read that, only one world in 10 million can enjoy such a gift. But this event was not only an important gift to the people of this world, but I think it's also an important gift to the billions of people in all of Nebadon and beyond, and even to our Paradise Father himself. The Rancha book is a gift. It's a gift of knowledge. Knowledge, we are told, is possessed only by sharing. And this profound statement emphasizes that the true value and meaning of knowledge are realized only when it is shared with others. Knowledge, when not shared, it fails to achieve its full potential. And the value of any knowledge is magnified through our act of sharing that enriches both the gift giver and the gift receiver. And it's only through sharing this gift of knowledge that it is empowered to change individuals, to change our nations, and to change this world. A friend of mine, Jay Peregrine, said at one of the Urantia Foundation Christmas parties several years ago that if it is more blessed to give than to receive, we must sometimes be willing to receive a gift in order to bless the giver. We receive the gift of knowledge about our Paradise Father, about our vast family of beings and personalities that make up the universe, the angels, the midwayers, and many others that work with us and for us. We receive the greatest gift of all as the indwelling spirit, the adjuster, enabling us to love and be loved and to become closer to God and more like him. So our thought adjuster is the one true gift that keeps on giving, even to eternity. So we gain the gift of knowing that our daily life and the way we live it is far more important than our material world has led us to believe. And we receive the gift of our mortal families, the children we create or help to raise. We're given a vision of the vastness and the beauty of a well-ordered and friendly universe of universes, from its origins in eternity to the very ground we walk on, and to the many mansions that we will inhabit along the way. We're given a personality that can feel and experience and return the love of the Paradise Father and love and value all of those who are, like all of you here, are sharing this adventure with us. And I think like the children on Christmas morning, we awaken to the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man, and our status as sons and daughters of the creator of everything, citizens of a vast cosmic society. And yet we're loved individually and personally as if we were his only child. All this knowledge of truth, beauty, and goodness, I think, allows us to begin, even now, to live as citizens of this universe. And this enlarges our awareness of cosmic citizenship and brings peace and hope and joy into our lives. It eliminates our fear of the future. I saw an online dictionary that said that a gift is something given freely without payment. And Jesus gave us the gifts of salvation, eternal life, truth, and even this fifth epical revelation without payment. We only have to accept them. And this acceptance, I think, is the essence of faith, freely receiving that which the Father and the Son freely give. And I think that willingness to receive is called faith. It's amazing how this simple definition of a gift, I think, describes our blessings as students of the Urantia book. It also explains why we, this team at the Center for Unity, have created so many resources and offer them freely to the world. These are our gifts to our brothers and sisters of Urantia because of our desire to do good for all of them. Jesus taught, "He who would be greatest among you, let him be the servant of all." And then there's another quote by Jesus that says, "Greater love no man has than to lay down his life for his friends." But I kind of like to paraphrase that quote by saying, "There's no greater gift than to give our lives in service to our friends. There's no greater gift than to give our life to God. Our dedication to doing the Father's will is man's choicest gift. our only gift of any true value to the Paradise Father. He is the one person in all the universe of universes who truly does already have everything. But fortunately, we don't need to buy this gift. We only need to choose to give it. So with the coming of the new year, let us renew our dedication to this mission of living and freely giving this gift of knowledge that will enlighten the individuals of Urantia and fulfill our hope for a better nation and a better world. So, yes, Urantia Book students do celebrate Christmas, just like everyone else, only more so. But for us, Christmas does not come but once a year. We celebrate it 24/7, 365 days a year through worship and prayer and the way we live our lives, the way we treat each other, and in our loving service to God and mankind. So I just like to end this by saying that from all of us at the Center for Unity, we want to thank you for your prayers and your support for the past year. And we look forward to serving you in the coming year. We wish you the merriest Christmas and the best New Year ever. And may God bless us all, each and every one. So that's it for me, Santiago. Thanks.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks.
It was a very beautiful intro to this Christmas special because I think it's important that we realize, as you're saying, that it's not that we just celebrate Christmas or the birth of Jesus just once a year, but that we, like you said, 24/7. Think about this and really feel blessed that Creator's Son, such as Him, came to our world and chose our world to incarnate as His last bestowal. So who wants to talk about this and who wants to probably add on what Rick just explained on how we celebrate and the importance of this birth in our planet?
I'll speak up. Hey,
Everybody,
Rick, thank you so
yes.
All right,
much
April.
for that
Go. Take
intro.
time.
And I so concur with Christmas is 24/7, 365.
Yeah,
That
for
is
sure.
how I live my life and in service and altruistic living. And I said it on a recent podcast with Mr. Santiago
Yeah.
of we receive not only the thought adjuster, but so many gifts, the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth, all the angels in our midst, the midwayers, and the choicest gift that we can give is to give our lives back and to live in God's will and in association with all of our cosmic family. So thank you for that. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you too.
Well, thank you. And we're told a lot of times to count our blessings, but if we tried to count all the blessings that God has given us, it probably would take us infinitely long to do that. So
Definitely, definitely. And I think it's very important. I mean, what April Helen is saying, the art of living, that we as incorporate these teachings and this example that Jesus gave us, which I think is the most important thing about His birth. It's not only the gifts, which is part of what we share in this time of year, but really understand His nature, not only the divine nature, but the human nature that we can relate to, and how that can inspire us, as you guys were saying, to freely give to our brothers and to freely share with our brothers all these gifts that we have. So I
all
think
right.
this is a beautiful concept. And that moves us right along to Margie. Margie's going to talk about joy, which I think it's very important that we always have joy. And I'm going to read a little quote from your Urantia book as well. And it says, the highest happiness is indissolubly linked with spiritual progress. Spiritual growth yields lasting joy, peace, which passes all understanding. So, welcome, Margie. What can you tell us about this concept of joy that you're bringing?
Okay, thanks, Santiago, and I want to thank Rick. He brought so many things up for me that thinking about Christmas. But I actually came to this study about joy before Santiago even invited me on here, and the reason was that I was recently in France, and over there they were getting ready for Christmas, earlier than we do because we have Thanksgiving here in America. But in France, they were already doing Joyous Noel over there, which got me thinking about joy. And then with the Christmas season coming up, we have so many Christmas carols, that use the word joy in the Christmas carols. I mean, we've been singing them all of our lives. And so it got me really, thinking about the term of, what is joy. And, sometimes we use it maybe correctly and then other times we don't. So I started studying it. I used the tutor that the Center for Unity has given us. And so I began to ask questions about joy, and I was looking at different quotes and different sections of the book. And so I kind of started writing a little bit of a thing. So I'm going to read a little bit and then kind of add in between. Uh, joy is something that's at the heart of what it means to be human. It's a word we all know, but have you ever stopped to think about what joy really is? How is it different from happiness? And this is where I think we get it confused a little bit. When did humanity first experience it? And most importantly, how can we find it in our own lives? And these are the big questions, but they're worth asking because joy isn't just a nice feeling. It's something that can transform the way we live. Let's start with the differences between joy and happiness. At first, they might seem like the same thing. Both make us feel good, right? But they're actually quite different. Happiness is what we feel when something good happens to you. It's tied to external circumstances. If you're in school, if you ace a test, you're just out of college and you get your first job, you meet the spouse of your dreams, you're happy, you get a big promotion, all these things that mark parts of our lives. We feel this happiness, okay? And happiness is great, but it's fleeting. It comes and goes because it depends on what happens around you. It's a sort of an external thing. When life is good, you're happy, but when things get tough, happiness can vanish. Joy, though, is something much deeper. Joy doesn't depend on what's happening outside of you. It comes from within. It's not about what you have or what you achieve. It's about who you are and how you connect to something greater than yourself. Joy is what you feel when you're living in alignment with your values, when you're pursuing truth, beauty, and goodness, and when you're experiencing love in its purest form. It's the kind of feeling that can sustain you even when life is hard. Imagine going through a difficult time. Maybe you're struggling with something big, but deep down, there's this steady sense of peace and purpose that nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake. That's joy. That's how to identify it within your life. It's not about escaping life's challenges. It's about finding meaning and connection in the midst of the challenges. Now let's take a step back for a minute and say, well, when our ancestors were running over the plains, when did they find, how the joy? Did they were trying to survive? When did humanity first experience joy? So I started looking for those answers, and it said, to answer that, we have to go all the way back to the very first humans. I didn't think that Andon and Fanta really had a lot of time to experience joy. They were just trying to survive. But picture this, a world that's wild and untamed, where survival is a daily challenge. These early humans, our distant ancestors, were just beginning to wake up to the world around them. They were learning how to use tools, how to communicate, how to work together. Their lives were simple, but they weren't without joy. They experience joy in the small but profound moments when they discovered fire for the first time, when they shared food with one another, when they looked up at the stars and felt a sense of wonder. Even in their primitive state, they were beginning to feel something deeper, a connection to something greater than themselves. That was the first spark of joy. And here's the incredible thing. The same joy is available to us today. There's no difference in that joy and the joy that we can experience today. It's not something that belongs to the past, and it's not reserved for a lucky few. It's something we can all experience, no matter who we are or what's happening in our lives. But to find it, we have to look beyond the surface. We have to stop chasing after the temporary highs of happiness and start seeking the deeper, more lasting fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with our highest values. Joy comes when we love others selflessly, when we serve a purpose greater than ourselves, and when we open our hearts to the presence of something eternal in our lives. So let me ask you, how do you experience joy in your life? Have you ever felt that deep, unshakable sense of peace and purpose, even when things weren't going your way? And if not, what might you do to cultivate this in your life? Maybe it's as simple as taking a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. Maybe it's about reaching out to someone who needs help, or spending time in nature and letting yourself feel awe at the beauty of the world. Whatever it is, I encourage you to explore it, because joy isn't just something that happens to us. It's something we choose to embrace. I want to
That's
leave you
beautiful.
with I want to leave you with this thought. Happiness is wonderful, but it's fleeting. Joy, on the other hand, is eternal. It'll be with us all the way. It's the light that shines within us, even in the darkest moments. It is the connection we feel to something greater than ourselves. And it's the gift we give to others when we live with love, purpose, and gratitude. So as you go out into the world, don't just chase happiness. Seek joy. Because when you do, you'll not only transform your own life, you'll help make the world a brighter, more beautiful place.
Thank you, Margie. That was beautiful, and think that you nailed it in saying that the difference between happiness and joy is that happiness is fleeting. Joy builds upon you. It's I see it like a like a scaffolding, and like you say, it doesn't matter the trials and turbulences of life. If you have joy and you're grateful, even for the bad parts, then that compounds and makes you reach higher and become more more spirit indwelt, and that brings you closer to God. So thank you for that. Anybody wants to comment on this? On joy?
Oh, let me make one other comment here. You also is another thing for you to be appreciative of your brothers and sisters. You can recognize joy in other people. When you look at their lives and how they're living them, I can say that the people that are on the screen, I have recognized joy in all of you. Okay. So, look at the people and the lives around you and celebrate their joy with them. That's part of the Christmas season. So anyway, I think Rick raised his hand.
Certainly. Yes, Rick, please.
Yeah, well, Margie, I really appreciate this because, before I thought joy was just like a higher level of happiness. But now I can understand that there is a big difference in that, where, like as you're saying, I think the happiness is something you kind of feel on the surface. It can come and go and that sort of thing. But joy is something that's a core, that's in your core, that even through the darkest hours or darkest moments in your life, you can still have that inner joy that that comes from knowing the things that we do, about what I talked about previously about the gifts from God and all that, and our love for each other, and the fact that we are loved. So I appreciate that very much, the difference between happiness and joy. So thank you.
Thank you. April Helen?
Yeah, thank you, Miss Sister of mine, joyful sister of mine. I saw a TED Talk about 15 years ago that was all about energetic frequency and how joy is the highest hertz and it reaches the furthest, like a 10-mile radius that you, as you hold this frequency of joy, are spreading that good cheer and joy further than hate. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. I am certainly joyful, joyful. We adore thee,
Lord
God
day.
of glory, Lord of love.
Thank you, sister. Susan, you wanted to participate.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, as you were speaking, Margie, I was reminded so much when you spoke of the journey that we're on. I think joy is our destiny as well because of the intense journey. We react with joy more than just happiness. And I'm reminded of what we're told about the angels of heaven can't even plan for the astounding joy that we feel when we're in worship, when we finally get to meet with the Father in heaven. And no matter what they do, they can never calculate how much gratitude and joy that we feel. So we're on this journey, and it is joyful all the way. So,
There you go.
Trying to find an image that I think I saw once. There's a Japanese person who was a photographer, and he created a technique whereby you take water and you slowly freeze it, and then you can look at the crystals, basically like snow or icicles that are being formed.
Dr. Emoto.
And I think I don't remember exactly which. I'm not sure it was the word joy, but think of love and hate or something, and you just take 2 cups of water that were taken from the same tap water. Like you open up a tap, you fill 2 cups, so it's basically the same water, and you put it on a piece of paper that has the somebody wrote down in handwriting the word love, and another piece of paper that has another word like hate. And again, it's the same water from the same tap. You put 2 cups, and then you go through the process, and you see visually how the word transforms the energy of the water. And then, of course, we are 70% water,
Yeah.
all of us. So there you go. Frequencies, and then of course music is another dimension where you can actually vibrate inside all of our cells. But thank you, Margie. This is very
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Um, I'll look for that picture and try to send it.
Yeah, I'll include it. No worries. But yeah, and just to complement what you were saying, Gabriel, the concept of resonance, and it's very interesting. If you put 2 guitars in front of each other and you strike, I mean, they have to be, all the strings have to be in tune. But if you strike, like say A, the A string, the A string vibrates on the other. You don't even have to strike it, but that's how frequency is, how vibration is. So imagine if we vibrate in love, if we vibrate in joy, what we're putting out to the universe and to the people around us. So keep that in mind in this Christmas time, that it's joyful, and that's why we feel so warm and so happy, because it's everywhere. It's all around us. But thanks everybody for your contributions, and now we're going to move with James. James is going to talk to us about. And that's where we're going to close this show on Christmas with this part. He's going to talk about true religion and the religion of the spirit. So what can you tell us about this, which we've talked a lot during our conversations, during these podcasts. So what can you tell us about this, James?
Well, thank you for the invite, and real joy to be here with all of you. And hey, I'm happy about it too. Can we do that?
Yes, of course.
I think we can be happy and joyful. You know, in the spirit of the Christmas that we're talking about, uh, really, we are celebrating uh, religion. We're celebrating one of the major religions of the planet, Christianity, the birth of our Savior. Uh, so it ties in what I want to talk about here is that the at the core of things, even though you know we get a little bit of commercialization and all of that, the the not so meaningful parts about Christmas, at the core of it, it's still about religion and what the Master taught us about religion is very significant, and it survived. It got it into the Gospels, and then we have it. Even more clearly defined for us in the Urantia book, uh, where they go into real detail about what is the religion of the Spirit and what is true religion. So I want to read a few excerpts, and then
Yes, please.
we can talk about it. And also, there's a something that might fit in with the distinction between joy and happiness. I don't know. We can maybe suss that out, but. Sometimes in the Revelation, they do what I call definition by dash, and that's where you're reading along in the text, and it has a phrase or a word, and then a dash, and then what follows behind it is pretty much a definition of what they want to say. It's very concise. So they in this one section, and it says true religion dash the religion of revelation. And we know that revelation is at the core of all major religions, you know, either a prophet or some sort of a revelation that came to a person that subsequently developed into a religion. We have knowledge of all that. Um, but it goes on to say the revelation of supernatural values, a partial insight into eternal realities, a glimpse of the goodness and beauty of the infinite character of the Father in heaven, the religion of the Spirit as demonstrated in human experience. Now, there's a lot of stuff in there that we could unpack, but mainly it's talking about the religion of the Spirit as demonstrated in human experience, and that's what we're most interested in because that's the joyful part, the inner part, the part that's uh, accented and accentuated by those conspiracies of spiritual ministries all around us, our indwelling spirit and the Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth, everything else. But what what they do and what Jesus did in his discussions, um, he contrasted the religion of the spirit with the religion of the mind. And he does this on quite a number of occasions, and so it requires us to sort of drill down and see. Okay, we don't want to disparage the mind, of course. The mind is with us, and it helps us. It is largely who we are, but we know we've got body, mind, and spirit. Everything is in threes. We know about the triads. So the body we have to have. The body gets us around and helps us to have all these experiences. Uh, and then the mind is a later addition. You know, animals have bodies too, but and they have minds, but they don't have self-conscious minds. So we have this addition of mind that comes in, but then the spirit is a third component
Mm-hmm.
and we're not as familiar on this world with this component of spirit, largely because of uh, activities and misfortunes beyond our control, isolation, rebellion, defaults, um, the very unique and strange experience of this planet known as Urantia. But regardless, we don't have the fullest expression about spirit, and that's probably why we're searching for it so deeply, which is a good thing in
Exactly.
the
It's
long
like
run. It's a
It's like
Go ahead.
when you lose sight. When you lose sight, your other senses kind of get they're more enhanced to that. So I think that's what happens to us. I mean, in our situation in this world, the spirit, the longing and the faith that we have, I think it surpasses what other worlds experience.
So true. So there's this distinction. I want to read the what really goes to the heart of this contrast. Um, Following along, the religion of the physical senses and the superstitious fears of natural man, the master refused to belittle, though he deplored the fact that so much of this primitive form of worship should persist in the religious forms of the more intelligent races of mankind. Jesus made it clear that the great difference between the religion of the mind and the religion of the spirit is that while the former is upheld by ecclesiastical authority, the latter is wholly based on human experience. So we're back to the human experience twice in these definitions when we're trying to decipher what's going on here between the religion of the mind and the religion of the spirit. We see that there's an accentuation on human experience and also, which we well know, the former upheld by ecclesiastical authority, and that's what we see.
Definitely.
And they call them the religions of authority in other places. It's sort of synonymous when they talks about the religions of the mind and the religions of authority, and that's a very sharp contrast. So, anyways, we're getting to this experience. What is the human experience of the religion of the spirit? And for me, it triggers joy, Margie. It triggers joy, and it's something different than the religion of the mind, which it brings me happiness. It brings millions of people happiness. And we just like the master, we refuse to belittle those experiences, but we know there's more. We know there's more in the religion of the spirit, in this human experience. Now, where it gets very interesting, this one requires a little bit of thought, and it follows along here. The religion of the spirit means effort, struggle, conflict, faith, determination, love, loyalty, and progress. The religion of the mind, the theology of authority, requires little or none of those exertions from its formal believers. Tradition is a safe refuge and an easy path for those fearful and half-hearted souls who instinctively shun the spirit struggles and mental uncertainties associated with those faith voyages of daring adventure out upon the high seas of unexplored truth in search of the farthest shore of spiritual realities as they may be discovered by the progressive human mind and experienced by the evolving human soul. It's one of my favorite passages, and essentially in podcasts and study groups, conferences, we've unpacked that first thing. Hours and hours you could unpack on what it
Yeah.
means: effort, struggle, conflict, faith, determination, love, loyalty, and progress. And why did they list it in that specific order? Anyways, that's homework.
Yeah, well, definitely a lot to think about. But it comes down, as you're saying, into a living experience, and it goes beyond just the mind, the body, which is matter, but into the spirit. How important that is, not just to, uh, be content with what you're saying about the spirits or the religions of the mind, where it's all they're all in your mind, or all knowledge based, or I don't want to say fact based, but it lacks that experience, that testing with your life of these truths. I think once you test it, once you live it, that changes everything. So anybody want to contribute on what James shared?
Yeah, what comes up for me, thanks, Mr. James, is it goes back to the mind training that can help the spirit, the religion of spirit. And it links back to previous podcasts of this inner dialogue and this higher consciousness around the connection with God and all of the entities that we have access to. And something that I learned long ago, Miss Margie, you may know more about the science behind this, of really only 10% of our thoughts are our own. And to get really discerning in what's going on in the mind and upstep it, up level it, so that the frequency that we're holding can be a higher frequency, so that we can put that out into the world. And it's so easy for humans at this animalistic level to get into the quagmire, the pity party, the thinking that all of our thoughts are real. And so I'm advocating for our listeners out there to really look at what's going on in the mind and live up to your personal experience of religion, to be able to hold that frequency of joy more often for longer periods of time. Let it become your natural being. So thanks for those words, Mr. James.
So much welcome. That's I'm glad you touched on that, because it's actually the when we've talked about this human experience, that's how we have to have that human experience of it. And how do we get that is by going to the source, by going to God in communion, in prayer and worship. Uh, we're told, keep in mind that we're told that we're super animal, but sub spiritual, which is kind of ties in with the same thing. We are super animal. We've got stuff going on, body, mind, and spirit, that the animals don't have. But we're not spiritual beings as of yet. We are potential spirit beings. And that's why it's so fascinating to keep diving in and trying to go deeper and deeper into this spiritual component that we have. That's what fascinates me.
Well, James, my brother, I always appreciate the way you present things and make it so meaningful. So thanks for doing this. But you
Ditto,
were
Rick. Ditto. Just got to say that, loved your presentation. Thank you.
oh, thank you. And you talked about the religious core of Christmas, and I think that's a very important point. The spiritual and religious aspect of Christmas as a core of that celebration of Jesus. So I guess I want to ask a question and see what you think. But one of my favorite quotes is, "The greatest of all human knowledge is the religious life of Jesus and how he lived it." Do you think that is kind of the core of Christmas itself? Do you think that's kind of the core meaning and purpose of Christmas?
Well, it is for me. I can say that much, and I think I can extend that out for millions or maybe billions of people that celebrate the birth of Jesus, and
Yeah.
that try to do their best, to follow his teachings with whatever uh, scriptures they happen to be following. Um, but definitely yes to that, the greatest the greatest that we can aspire to, his teachings. There's no better. I keep searching. You guys probably know I interfaith and other scriptures and paths. I still look into all of them, but I haven't found any that are superior, and most of them, I have to say, aren't as meaningful to me. I'll say that.
Thank you, James. You and I have talked before. I've always loved everything that you share with us. Um, the thing that between like what April Helen said and what you said is and also some of the things that I said about joy. Uh, we forget that we have to choose these things. These are choices that we make. We can choose to ignore our fellows, and stay egocentric, or we can choose to live our religion also externally and share the love of God with our fellow. That's the choice. You don't have to do it. But it is, if you want to grow your soul, that's where the action is making these choices, to hopefully be better and better. And the best instructions to do that is, of course, to look at the life of Jesus, just like Rick said. Okay. And so in this season, particularly where our fellow Christians are really celebrating his life and him coming, this is a time for us to be very um uh supportive of their of all the good things that come out around this time of year, this giving of gifts. I mean, there's an outpouring, not only the gifts that you wrap and put under a Christmas tree, but I mean, this is one of the biggest times of the year where philanthropy just goes kind of wild, and it's because people want to they do have this joy in their life and they want to share it. And but here again, it's a choice. They choose to do it or they choose not. But when we make the choice to share our joy externally with our brothers and sisters, we're doing exactly what Jesus told us to do. We are absolutely doing what he told us to do. So thank you for reminding April Helen and James and everybody, reminding that we have choices, and we don't just let things roll over us, and let circumstance guide. We can make the choices for truth, beauty, and goodness. So anyway,
Definitely.
that's my comment.
No, definitely. Thanks, Margie. And April Helen, last remarks before we close this Christmas show and move on to the New Year's.
Yes. It is a phenomenon this Christmas holiday season that it's so worldwide and not Christian based. There, of course, it has its
Not
roots.
exclusive. Not exclusive.
Exactly.
It's beyond Christian
It's
based.
beyond Christians now. And how beautiful is that the spirit of giving and generous love is expanded globally beyond the Christian community.
Definitely. Well, thanks a lot, April Helen, and thanks to all of you for this first half of our show. So stick around. The second part of this is coming up on the 31st of December, where we're going to be talking about the New Year's.
Yay. Sounds good. Thank you, Santiago,
right,
and
but
all of my friends in here. Yeah.
so stick around. We're going to be talking about the New Year's.
On the Divine Within podcast, we'll share real conversations to help you find a personal connection with God. My goal is to support your faith, growth, and journey toward discovering the divine within yourself. Join us to deepen your faith and spiritual journey.